So I'm going to spoil the entire story because no one is going to play this game.
Use this game as a coaster for your coffee. That's about as useful as it is.
Welcome back to another episode of everyone's favorite podcast, Critical Arcade. I am Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Oh, those openings, they're the best.
They are. I can't get enough of them. But I can actually get enough of them because I'm not used to them yet.
No, everybody, it's so weird, everybody, to actually just announce yourself before. We're still not used to it. It's like announcing yourself when you're discussing anything. It just feels so awkward. But anyway, it's funny. It's funny.
This week has been a bit of a doozy, right,
yeah.
Dave? Yeah,
no doubt. This has been crazy. But it makes the foil to the good games when you play a game for Bad Boys, Miami Takedown.
Oh yeah, Bad Boys.
Which sounds great, yeah. You know,
that's very cool.
Yeah, Bad Boys, what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you?
Yeah, so the hype's all there. I was expecting. Oh well, let's face it. Wasn't expecting anything amazing. Taking into account there was like a handful of good movie games out there, and I say good in a very stressed sense, not great, just good. Sadly, this isn't one of them.
No, it isn't. So, Bad Boys, Miami Takedown is a PlayStation 2 and GameCube game from 2004.
That's right. Developer was Blitz Games, which I'd never heard of, so I looked into, and they made I suggest fairly well-known games to certain people, the Fairly Odd Parents game, the Bratz games, and the SpongeBob SquarePants game. So yeah, that's quite a pedigree they've got there for the Bad Boys. It's quite funny that they took the kiddies IPs and then they did Bad Boys. I'm guessing it's like a 16 or 18 rated game with what's in there.
I think this is probably an 18 rated
game.
game.
Yeah, I thought so too, yeah. I'm probably being a bit too...
Anyone below the age of 18 would die from cringe.
I almost did, and I'm well over that. This game, like I said, it's. I know it was. This game is so bad, it's hilarious. Which.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't get past.
It is.
It is. I just couldn't get past how funny it was. Which I don't know. It's one of those things when you watch a bad movie because you know it's bad, but it makes you laugh because it's bad.
Yes. Wow. That's very accurate to this game. There were parts where it was so bad, I couldn't help but laugh. But not at the jokes they were making.
No, not at all. Not even close to the jokes they were making.
No, but at how bad it was. At one point, I think in the middle of the first mission, where you just enter a gangster's house, there's a cutscene about one of the men. It's not Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Yeah.
So when one of the men talk about a lady that they just met,
oh yeah,
that's
right.
Is having how do you say some visual flashbacks.
Yeah. The whole thing was just mental. It was just absolutely mental. At no point, I know. When you were playing the game, did you know if you were Marcus or Mike, or of course Will Smith or Martin Lawrence in this? Because I kept looking at the characters themselves, and I could not guess who I was playing.
No, me neither.
At any point, at no point could I know if I was being the rich playboy Mike or the Family Guy Marcus. It was so funny. I just did not know what was going on. It was so hilarious. It's the main reason I kept going forwards in the game. It's just to find out how much worse it could get.
Oh wow!
And it didn't disappoint. It really didn't disappoint.
I'm very much looking forward to get into this.
Oh yeah.
Let's have a chat about the story, or whatever the story is supposed to be.
Yeah, the story is relatively shallow. To my, they tried to do a movie premise to it, but a very shallow one. It's all drug lord, Did you see the cutscene at the beginning? You watched the cutscene at the beginning, right?
Of course I did.
Lord.
That's right. The
And
drug lord and
he shoots the chair, and he's being all mean and badass. And then I loved the end bit because it was so. He says something like, "And when he parties, he likes to play with all his things." And then it pans over to this woman in an object.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He said, let's go have some dinner. He loves having good company, and he likes, and he what was it? And he likes to eat, and then it pans over to the lady.
Yes.
All sorts of things.
Yeah, and the lady was so like cuboid-esque. You know, you had to look a little bit further to see, is that a woman? But she just stands. It is, but it's like you stand there thinking, wow. That was amazing. You're objectifying women, and you didn't even make the woman look much like a woman. That cracked
congrats.
me up.
And I think the one evil criminal is Colombian, and the other evil criminal is Russian.
It's true.
So this might even be slightly a bit. Is racist the right word?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't see why not. I'd say it was pretty racist. That said, from a fellow Brit, we're often bad guys, so you know I can feel the pain. But no, we Brits like being bad guys. Keep it coming.
It's because you make good bad guys.
No, it's true. We do. We have the attitude and the sounds that you just want to smack. You know, it makes us a good bad guy. You want us to fail. It's fine. Hell, I'm happy with that. But yeah, the story on this was. It was just an excuse to go to each location to shoot bad guys. There was no.
That's all it was. That's all it was. Each mission was just go here.
Yeah.
And shoot everyone, which is fine, by the way, because you're a cop.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what they do, right? That's all. You know, just go places, shoot people, crime solved.
I can't. There's one piece. There's one one-liner. Well, there's a ton of one-liners. But the one coming to mind right now, I think Martin Smith or Will Lawrence would shout at one of the bad guys after he killed one. He'd just shout, "Duck next time."
Yeah, no, there was loads of those.
And I was thinking, no, how about you don't shoot him?
Yeah, well, I've been shot in my ass. Well, dodge it next time. It's just ladies, we all know the movies and the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. They always do the comical quibs back and two. And this game tries to do the same thing, but fails so hard at it that it again is just so funny. To you're literally murdering people, which it's the only way you can describe what's going on the screen when you're there, and they're trying to do these comical little quips back and forwards that are just. They are hilarious, but not in a comical way, in a cringe way. Like
no, not in the conventional sense. No. They'd be funny for how bad they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Truly.
No,
it
exactly.
is the worst. But I read a synopsis of the entire game's story. I don't know how far you got.
I got, I think, about halfway, but that was about it. But go on, what's I know, tell us what it is.
So I'm going to spoil the entire story because no one... is going to play this game.
Use this game as a coaster for your coffee. That's about as useful as it is. A nice coaster, pretty picture on the disc. There you go, you're done.
But the cover of the game, because the cover still has Smith Lawrence and Will Martin on them.
Yeah, it's true. I see what you did there. It's clever.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does.
The story of this game, it starts off with the Colombian... What's that? Negotiating with the Russian, objectifying women, talking about drugs and money. Soon afterwards, the lady, I can't remember what, I think it's Leanne?
Yeah, the undercover agent lady, right?
Yes, undercover agent lady, let's call her Leanne.
Yeah.
Gets taken hostage at a diner, and a car explodes with her partner in it.
That's right.
Yeah, and then, on scene arrive the bad boys. Hell yeah. Smith Martin and Will Lawrence. It's just, and then it's just shoot gang members.
Just go in, because the only thing that could possibly be going down is there's gang members in there that need to be shot at.
That's it. That's all there is.
Yep. Some good policing right there.
I'm not. I'm not gonna go through the entire story.
No. It is. It's quite.
But
convoluted.
it is just schlocky action movie.
Yeah.
Narrative put into a game. At the end, you chase down the bodyguards of these drug lords. You get the Russian first later, and then the final standoff is in this mansion of the Colombian.
Yeah, makes sense.
The Colombian drug lord, forgot his name.
Like
and the big twist.
Scarface wise, right? Yeah.
Yes. Do you know what the big twist is?
No, what is it?
The big twist, near the end, you finally, well, not finally, but you eventually get to see that Leanne's partner isn't dead.
Ooh. Whoa. Whoa.
Slow down.
That's crazy. That's never been done in cinema or game history. It's a game changer right there.
The absolute best part of this story is at the end of the game, it's revealed he's still alive, and then the Colombian drug lord kills him again.
Oh no! Shame they brought him back to die. That's harsh.
That's right. They brought him back just to kill him again.
That's just shame. Oh well, at least that. I'm sure there was a few nice quib remarks by Will Lawrence and Martin Smith.
I'm sure there was. But yeah, that's about it for the narrative.
Yeah,
it's absolutely nothing special. Nothing.
It really isn't. I think we even gave it the same score if I look now. It's like there was
we
nothing
did.
there. Yeah.
Great. A bad score.
And now we get to jump onto the visuals.
Oh man, just to jump off it again, because it's so. I'm pretty sure it's got a couple of STDs. These visuals.
Oh, this is a. No, it's funny how bad it is, but it is so bad. It's like I checked to see what other games came out because I often forget, what level standard was there in 2004, and then I checked Silent Hill 4. Metal Gear Solid 3, right? Yeah, that's right, Snake Eater.
Metal Gear Solid 3!
Yeah, right? So these are the games that came out the same year. And this game looks like a PS1 type style. There was nothing good about it.
Wait a minute, Half-Life 2 came out that year.
Yes, that's true, it did. Yes.
That game still holds up.
Oh yeah, no, you can't get me started on Half-Life. I love Half-Life. It's horrendous. And did you just... I love. Did you threw grenades? I take it.
I did.
And you'd throw these grenades, and it would just be this flat, almost like 2D explosion that would come out of them, and then half the guys would just stand around like, I thought it was insane. It was, but hilarious. Everything about it was hilarious.
Yes. So the entertainment factor of this game is there, just not as intended.
Yeah, correct. And every bad guy looked the same. I don't know if this was another weird racism that they were chucking out there, but every single person, you'd go through a room, they're wearing like a green shirt and a bandana, and then the next room, it's his twin brother who comes out trying to kill you. Yeah, who knew this was a family biz?
No.
But yeah, they're all the same generic NPCs, sometimes with a bit of a colour palette change, but that was it. But no, I didn't expect more. It is what it is. It looked... horrible. It is horrible.
This was purely meant to be a video game tie-in to the movie, just to capitalize on all the money.
Yeah, they didn't even get Will Smith and Martin Lawrence to narrate, voice it. So
no, they didn't.
Not even the movie really gave it the full license. They just said, yeah, you can make it, and we'll take half or whatever the hell they take in regards to the profits. If this game made money, I'm not sure.
With these visuals, I was walking through the levels and taking in my surroundings. There's a couple of things, although not a lot. I remember there's some variation. Near the start, you run through an arcade.
That's right.
And if you shoot the arcade machines, they actually kind of explode.
Yes, they broke. Yeah, that was cool. That's like I said.
They jump when they explode, which is
cartoony. That's true. Yeah. No, I remember I broke a few things. Like I said, I'll speak a bit later on that about gameplay because some of those things confused me.
Right. Sorry.
Did you notice when you blew up things, then some money came up on the screen?
What?
Like, this little money marker came up on the screen, and I was like, "What the hell is that? Like, do we earn money?" I was like, "What? And then it would flash on the screen for like half a second and come back. But I'll tell you about that later. I'll tell you what that's about.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But regarding all of the objects that I'd see on screen in any particular place, at one point I found a poker table, and it had some cards stacked. And I thought, oh, that's a nice detail.
Somebody
I like that.
tried. Yeah, that's right. That's cool.
That's right. Somebody tried.
There
It might
was-
have
there
just
was like-
been the level, not the level designer or whatever. And when I shot these cards, they fell.
Oh, really?
That's a.
I like
tiny,
that. I like
right?
that.
Right?
Yeah, I
That's
like-
a tiny nice detail.
I enjoyed those little things in other games too. The idea that was cool. That like I said, there was somebody developing that game somewhere who actually had a bit of passion, and they said, "I'm going to design these cards, and if they get shot at, they're going to have physics to them." And I like that there's
Hell
somebody
yeah.
there.
Well,
thought,
everyone else.
Yeah, everybody else was generically making Haitians or Hispanics to shoot or whatever. This guy was like,
on lunch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, on lunch, somebody there actually took some time, which
Yeah.
Now you say that, I can appreciate that. If you're listening, fellow lady or guy, well done. We see you.
If you're one of our 9 listeners.
That's right. If you're one of those 9, we've got your back.
So the visuals, not great.
No, this is there are so many others. Don't even. Yeah, again, movie games just sticking to what they are. Movie games, they're just not great, and this is a prime example of it.
It is, definitely. But a different part of this game that I was mildly a bit more impressed with was the audio.
Yes, I think I was a bit. The audio, yeah, the audio was certainly far better than the gameplay, the visuals and stuff, and I think we both noted that.
Yeah, which it sounds like we're saying it has good audio. It doesn't.
No, it's not.
It's
but when you're
it's just better than the atrocious visuals.
Yeah, when you're here just like polishing turds, you're trying to find the nicest one, and audio was there. There was.
Oh yeah.
There was. Yeah, I think that even the quips to and fro from Smith and Lawrence or whatever the characters' names, I forget what they are now. It was there. It was
there.
it was
that's
bad.
one thing.
It was interesting. It made it
But
more.
there were quips.
Yeah, all the time there were quips. There were continuous chatting to one another, even if they weren't in the same room. If they were two separate areas, you could still hear each other.
But having the quips be there, that's effort put into the game.
No, that's
I'm
true.
not gonna,
That's true.
I'm not gonna discourage or subtract points for that.
No, I
It's
agree.
good effort. The writing is horrible, but it's there.
Yeah, somebody thought that was the best part of the movies, or one of the most entertaining parts of the movies. We've got to put it in the game. And they
for
did.
sure. I mean, loads of action movies in the 80s, 90s, and even the first bit of the 2000s. The one-liners were some of the best parts.
Oh yeah, don't get me started. Very true. Dirty Harry and Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Their one-liners are classics. And you're right. There was big money.
Dare I mention his name, John McClane?
John, yes, of course, yeah. You daren't, unless you've watched it now.
Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, that's it. You can't say his name until you've watched the movies. But yes, John McClane I'm allowed to. Yes, John McClane, very much so. But these were hilarious. They were wrong. They were out of place. They were slightly racist a lot of the time, but they were the funniest thing of the game. The little quips. They really were weirdly out of place, weirdly repeating themselves again and again, but it was funny in a really poor and bad way. But you got to give them marks for that. It made me laugh.
That's right.
Even if it wasn't intentional, it did make me laugh.
Another point that I liked from the game that I picked up on, that some other games don't get, still to this day. This game, it knew it was all about the action. So for the entire time that you had a fight happening on screen, it had nice music playing.
Yeah, the music wasn't too bad. It was.
I'm gonna remove the word "nice" when I'm editing this.
That's fine. But yeah, the music wasn't too shabby. It was. Yeah, again, when I don't want to say it wasn't too bad when you compare it to other games that were out there, but it was.
That's right.
It was just. The music did match the scenarios on occasion. You know, they did change the tempo and the likes that, like, you know, it was alright. It was, like you said, when it got tense, but when it was less tense and it was just another game of generically shooting people, I thought it was less noticeable, or I didn't notice it myself.
Agreed. For me, it's almost the same, like them having added the quips and the one-liners and the banter. It just being there is already good. That's already making me a tiny bit more invested in the game.
Slightly a bit immersed. Yeah, you're right. Like I said, if it weren't there, that would be worse than it being there, which is, it's a strange little point to make, but it is a point in their favor. Somebody did actually make a musical score for it.
Regarding the gameplay, I don't I don't know how else to say this. It is dog shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's bad.
It's pretty poor. I'm going to start off by saying a couple things I did like.
Yeah.
Because it was really hard to find them, and I'm proud of myself that I did, because there's so much crap in there. Well, did you notice there was the bad boy and the perfect cop meter?
Yes, I did notice that.
And I was like, what's that about? And then, you know, of course, they don't explain it. There is, granted, I can only imagine there's manuals with this game, I guess, somewhere, but in-game, they don't explain it. Your bad boy meter was when you blew up things, like the arcades, and that little money meter was the collateral damage that the police department would have to pay, so that's why you were bad. That's why you were a bad boy. And then, I don't know why they went with perfect cop instead of good cop, as in bad and good, but anyway, perfect cop, you could shoot the guns out of the guy's hands. Did you notice that?
Is that why some of them went to the ground and put up their hands?
Correct, they put their hands up and went to the ground, because you can shoot their guns out, and that gave you perfect cop
I was wondering why
points.
some of them did that and why some of them died.
Yeah, well, a lot of them died for me, because I couldn't be bothered to shoot the guns out their hands. But yeah, you could shoot them out, and that would make you a perfect cop. Which, again, I didn't know, that didn't seem to affect the storyline in any way, or have any real effect on, like, unlockables or something, to my knowledge. I didn't see anything. And another thing I kind of liked, at the end of each level, it gave you kind of like your accuracy count. Yes. On that little shooting target thing, like where you shot things and what your accuracy was, which was, that's always kind of fun to see. I like to see my stats.
Some statistics, some stats, yeah.
And sadly, that's everything. That was all the good parts about the gameplay that I could find. And I looked, because everything else was so broken, like the cover system.
Oh no,
was useless. They tried, and it was.
It's bad. No, they didn't try. Don't lie.
It was so bad.
I don't. On the cover system, sometimes I would take cover next to a door. Right, I would take cover, the button, and then the screen would just show me not the doorway, but the wall on the other side of the protagonist.
Wow. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So I'd be staring at this wall, taking cover, and see a fraction of the doorway on the right side of the screen. It is... How does that work? I don't understand. So I would get out of cover, and then aim, and then shoot, and then half my health bar is missing.
Yeah, it's like they didn't even think about the camera angles after applying the cover system in. And hell, the cover system just took so long. You know, half the time I used it the first level, and the next level I just jumped in and rolled around and shot people. It was so much faster and so much easier. And, you know, it was again, it's like they put the cover system in, and then they said, that's done. That doesn't need any fine-tuning or some work or
let's
some
put some more
testing.
effort into the one-liners.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it was just... And, the lock-on system was also relatively pointless.
The lock-on system?
Yeah, L1. If you held L1, it would lock on to the closest character.
It would?
Yeah, but it was pointless. It would lock on the closest character, and it would aim for the chest. But it wasn't hard to just point your cursor at the bad. There was no need for it. There wasn't hard things to shoot, or you didn't need aim assist or anything like that. It was it was a thing that was put in there with very little necessity, really. And it was.
Oh wow! I have a completely different experience.
Oh really? Yeah.
I had no idea. I don't know if it's my controller, but I could not lock on at all. I had to aim manually with the analog stick, and there's not enough frames. I would shoot around the enemy like 5 times before I finally hit them in the shoulder or something.
No, I had that slight problem because the analog stick or the scrolling of the cursor was horrendous. I thought that was just me. I wasn't going to bring that up. I didn't know if it was my piece, if it was my controller or something, so I wasn't going to mention that. But I would keep shooting and be like, of a 9-bullet clip, 9 ammunition. I'd only hit them with like 2 of them. Because it was like just above the shoulder, and then it was like just to the side of their hand, and every once in a while I get them in the head. But it just felt, it was horrible. There was no, and that's a weird thing that it's a shooting game. You'd have thought that the one part they would polish would be the shooting part.
Would be the shooting or the game. Neither.
Yeah, that's true. Or the game.
Neither was polished.
But yeah, it was horrible, and the bad guys. I just thought the bosses, the generic bosses fight, they were such bullet sponges.
Yeah, no, same. Felt the exact same. Which I don't get. This game is going for a slightly. It's trying to be a bit realistic.
Yeah,
it's from a live action cop film where there's agency and there are stakes and.
Yeah, all tense scenarios, and everybody else you shoot in the head, it's a one-shot kill. If you shoot in the shoulder, they don't die, and all the the normal mechanics are kind of there, but the bosses, damn,
no,
that was they were mental. They weren't hard to shoot or that complex, but they didn't have to take like a few thousand bullets just to whittle down. But it's almost that's how they stretched out the boss fights. They just said, well, there's not much there. Just increase his health bar exponentially.
Just pad out the gameplay. This is a method to pad out the gameplay to make you feel like there's more game than there actually is.
Yeah, no, exactly. So there's more hours in it than there
exactly.
Is. And there isn't really many hours in this game as it is. But
no. But sadly, I think that is partly due to it being part of the PS2 era.
Yeah, that's true.
Where there couldn't be more game just because of the technological limitations.
Well, there's a strange. You say that. I know early PlayStation 2 there wasn't, but if you actually look at the Metal Gear Solids and the Final Fantasies,
right?
Final Fantasy X, there was 100 hours or so you could put into that quite easily.
Good point.
But I don't know how technology evolved. I really don't. Well, let's face it, this game was half-assed, so maybe it was half-assed.
It was half-assed.
Yeah. The gameplay. I tried to find it. I think the gameplay I gave almost the highest score to, second highest score to, but it was again, I keep using the word, but it was broken. These people complain about games being released now needing patches. It's not like there's not a history of people doing that in the past with PlayStation games and stuff like that. There are some atrocious things out there.
Yeah, if a half-assed game was released, it would stay half-assed.
Oh yeah, there was no fixes then. That's it. That's all you got.
That's why in this era, I think Nintendo really shined.
Yeah, I agree. There was very rarely, or I can't even think of Nintendo games even doing that poorly now. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was very rare that a Nintendo game was poorly made. It might have not been the great story and stuff, but as a brick and mortar type scenario, it was actually, they are always generally quite well made. Performance.
You go on.
No, I had a few problems. That you were talking about the arcade situation. I went into a room, and then there was nothing there. Then all of a sudden, the arcade was there.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if this was a frame rate issue or a game issue, but that was random. And I noticed, like I said, I double checked my system and I was running it fine, but sometimes the graphics would lag behind the gameplay. Like even if it was like a fraction of a second. The draw rate was very slow. Like I burst, you kicked through the door.
Yes.
And the action of kicking through the door, I could see the rendering of the frames from the other doors and stuff slowly come in after I'd already kicked it in. And I double checked my system. My frame rate was going fine. There was nothing wrong in any way.
Other than some general bad PS2 game performance glitches, I wouldn't say much. It felt very slow, right? Aiming with the analog stick felt slow.
Yeah, that was slow. It's like it wasn't sensitive enough. That was slow.
And I don't think that was that's a problem with the gameplay. I think that's a problem with the performance, the frames.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. If we both
Allowed
experience
that
the
this
same
game
thing.
allows on your PS2, because I know Ratchet and Clank that gives you 60 frames on the PS2.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought their standard was 30 or something.
I think Ratchet and Clank goes out of their way to keep a standard of 60 frames.
Yeah, again, another solid game franchise. They make make solid games. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do 60.
I think the only exception was the reboot on PS4. I can't remember, but I think that was the only game that's 30 frames.
Oh, okay.
So, but then that doesn't... If you play Ratchet and Clank on PS2, that feels right. You can aim and you can shoot, and a big part of that game is the shooting. A big part of this game is the shooting as well, but the performance, it doesn't allow it to be fun.
No, and that's a shame because you can almost forgive all the other nonsense because it's a movie game. You know, you're playing it to be Will Smith and Martin Lawrence shooting bad guys and taking up the same role as you did from the movie. That's why you're doing it. But they're taking into account that that's just slow and mundane and kind of boring. It's relatively unforgivable, really. But
very much.
Yeah, and it really it's not even arcade game worthy, if you know what I mean. It's not like Time Crisis.
Time Crisis. Ooh,
which is a
legendary.
Classic just shoot game, which we all know, and it's the graphics are. The first Time Crisis is roughly the same graphics as this game. But at least that you enjoyed shooting people. This game...
You did.
You don't much. You enjoy how bizarre everything's going on. So yeah, it is. This game is a coaster.
A lot of people would argue that's an issue with the gameplay. It is an issue with the gameplay as well, but I don't think the performance of this game allows the gameplay to be slightly bit better.
No, I agree. If it ran smoother and if it was there, the actual performance, then maybe it would have been a better. They do go hand in hand to some degree. Yeah, you're right.
So, regarding the value for money for this game, I think there is only one point that I would raise, and I would use to rate this category very low. This game is meant to be a co-op shooter.
Was it? Oh yeah, no, I understand. Yeah,
no, it's true. Supposed to be. The Bad Boys. I don't think if it was ever going to be. I don't think so.
But it was initial. Yeah, I understand your premise.
No, sorry, I don't think I'm getting my point across. The idea of Bad Boys. If you think about a Bad Boys game, a buddy cop game. Oh yeah. You sit down with your brother, or your friend, or whoever,
no.
with two 100%. Controllers, split screen, and you co-op shoot through this campaign.
It's a buddy movie, so you expect a buddy game. Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. Yes, of course, and that would have been a ton better. The idea, like, it would have scored. So even just that, we all know the fun of actually playing 2-player, especially back in that era. 2-player with Nintendo and everything they were pumping out. 2-player was the thing, or one of the bigger things compared to now. And the idea, you got everything there for it to be co-op, and then they didn't do that. That is pretty criminal, like you say. That is, it's a shame because, I don't know how to make games, but you've got the gameplay, you've got the
setup is perfect.
Yeah, it should have been relatively. Again, I don't know entirely what I'm talking about. It should have been relatively simple. But what do I know? But no, you're right. The idea this wasn't a co-op shooter is kind of it's just wrong.
It is just wrong, and that's why I scored the value for money just super low. It was it needed to be a cooperative shooter. It needed to be.
Can you just imagine like the people who spent $30 on it like when it released? It must have been so disappointing. I always think in 2004, and you're a young man or a young boy or a young girl, and you go and you spend all your earned money and you buy that game, and this is what you get. It just, I still get that pain now with some games, and you're putting hundreds of dollars into. But I just can't imagine buying this game and just being so disappointed. That makes me sad for people. I'm sorry if anyone listening had that experience. I feel bad. Yeah, there should be a helpline for you. Dial this number so you can speak to someone about the trauma of having to buy this game for full price.
Dial this number and pay $50 for a co-op partner for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's genius.
Oh yeah,
what a $1 million idea is that? Yeah, Quickly get the internet domain.
The Shark Tank. We need to go to the Shark Tank.
Yeah, quickly, exactly. Let's quickly make it player 2 hire. I like it. It's genius.
Have you got anything else on?
No, that's about it. No, this was don't buy it. It was a bad game. Just
don't buy it. It's as easy as that. Don't buy this game.
Yeah.
There are other games. There are other PS2 games.
Yes, there's some excellent PS2 games. This is just far from one of them.
Far, very.
So
far,
was that too many fars?
I don't think those were enough fars.
But don't buy this one. This is a no-go.
So for our review of Bad Boys Miami Takedown, we gave it a letter grade rating of D-.
That's right, D-.
D-, which is just a single point away from it getting an F and joining Digimon World as a failed game.
That's right. It's not the greatest concept that it just did better than Digimon World, but hey, it's good for them. But yeah, don't buy it. It's
No, don't. Or if you're in need of coasters.
Yes, if you want coasters, buy loads of them. Or a PlayStation 2 box for any of your good games that you want to put back into a box. By all means, get it, but no. So what game are we doing next week?
Right. Next week, hold on to your butts. Next week, we are going to be reviewing the excellent ocean exploring game on an alien world, Subnautica.
Yeah, I can't believe how old in my head that was a new game, but 2014 that came out. Crazy.
That's 8 years ago.
Yeah,
It's a long time.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Even though it scares me. For me, that's a scary game.
It is. It's overwhelming.
It's a scary game. Yeah, it's a scary game.
Isolating. I don't.
But I look forward to it. Like people say good things, but I'm still I'm tense. But anyway, that'll be next week.
Next week. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at It's Time for Nick and David.
You can follow me, but I'll probably throw cheese at you this time.
There we go.
You don't want that.
If you want some Gouda in your face, you can throw...
Oh, it's true. Cheese is expensive. Sorry, let's say something cheaper then. Cheese is expensive. I've got to keep that. Bread.
If you want some, if you want some breadsticks in your nose, you can follow David.
There we go. That's right. That sounds more visceral.
Don't.
Yeah. Okay. But subscribe, listen, tell everybody, tell your parents, tell the person on the street corner, tell people at your local supermarket. They want something to listen to. Just tell everyone.
See someone with bread in their face, they already know of this podcast.
Yes. Don't turn round.
Go away.
I'm obviously there. Just really...
Right, turn around. David might be close.
I might be close, yeah, exactly. Listen out for dramatic music, to intensifies when I get close.
Yeah, if there's boss music, you can expect...
Yeah, exactly. I see when boss music arrives, yeah. Okay, well, thanks for listening, everyone. Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.